Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today, we are going to talk about the connected car, its security and governance. Connected cars become an integrated part of our regular life, and this vehicle is bringing lots of facility to our life and making our drive easy, or we could say they are actually electrifying our drive. Yes, but these cars are connected. The term connected make the difference. So let's see that what are those differences and how to handle those differences. Cyber is one of the major area which is very critical when it is coming to the connected car. Why? Because the entire global risk landscape is continuously changing. If we look at the global risks report by World Economic Forum 2019, we can see that cyber attack and data theft are top risks identified among with the normal traditional risks. And this is happening continuously from last couple of years, that is from 2015. So cyber is really a game changer and also have a flip side and have a lots of benefits if we use it effectively. So how it is associated with the connected car, how secure this connected car, and how to use them effectively, that's the main focus of today's discussion. So let's look at that, how this connected car are. A modern connected car is having lots of OT and IoT devices embedded within it and have lots of interfaces to interact with the different part of the ecosystem. So before going to those ecosystem, let's see how is the connected car landscape. So when it is coming to the connected car, they are actually interacting with different devices, different infrastructure like cell tower, it could be our phone, cloud, satellite, navigation, insurance companies, traffic regulatory system, parental control, diagnostics, vehicle diagnostic, hotspot, parking. So if we can look at this particular picture, it will give us a clear idea how they are connected and talking with each other. Now, what are the connected car ecosystem, or what are the component of the connected car ecosystem? Autonomous driving system is one of the major component along with the telemetrics, vehicle demographics, vehicle intelligence system, navigation system. Also, you can connect your car with your connected home, traffic, information and infotainment system. Connected car, when they are connecting with so many ecosystems, the most important ecosystem is the connected car support ecosystem. What is that connected car support ecosystem? To talk back and forth and keep itself up and running, there are certain support systems required to continuously connect with the car to ensure that functionality. Some of these are driving behavior, vehicle evaluation process, vehicle location, accident detection, Wi-Fi on board, These are some of the dependency and the support system our connected car are associated with. Now, when a connected car associated with so much stuff, there are some critical component or some component with the car which are actually going to ensure these connectivities and these activities are up and running. This is an exhaustive list of those critical component, but among this critical component, there are certain major components which are very critical. One is Electronic Control Unit or ECU, Control Area Network Bus, which we also call CAN bus, onboard diagnostic system, that is through which we can connect with the vehicle and see the vehicle health. And obviously, you would not like to have a car which is not capable to provide you the entertainment. So yes, infotainment is one of the necessity of today. So as we are focusing on the cyber risks, governance and security program, all this security program are risk driven. First, we need to understand the risk portfolio or risk profile of that particular product. Car is also a product. So if we look at this product named car, there are two kind of risk category. One is safety specific risks, another is vehicle specific risks. So let's see what are the vehicle specific risks. Theft of car or any content of the car, tracking the vehicle location, theft of information including your personally identifiable data, enabling the physical crime against the occupants, vector for attacking mobile device in the car. So these are the risks and they have a huge impact in the entire ecosystem. Think about a situation. You are inside a car and suddenly the entire environment within the car, that is the temperature, get changed and your door and the windows are locked. Or a certain situation where a car is running within a highly managed traffic environment, suddenly it misbehaves, which actually cause the injury on the road or disaster on the road. Now, safety specific risks related to that area is steering changes, engine shut off, driver distraction. Now, why these risks are, why we feel these risks are threat for a car? The reason is there are certain set of key vulnerabilities made available within the car, which are exploitable using the hackable surface. Certain key vulnerabilities within the car, if it is exist, we can exploit them using the hackable attack surface and take control of certain component of the car, and we can take complete control over that time, a car on that particular time. So let's see what are those vulnerabilities. Generally insecure firmware, upload or download, hard code or non-existing Bluetooth pin, hard code credential, weak WPA2 password, internet enabled administration surface. Now, lots of cases We may use Bluetooth to connect with our car, but we may just simply whip off the Bluetooth pin and for our ease of access, but in turn, it's a huge threat. Anybody can connect the Bluetooth device with your car to take control over a connected car. So what are those attack surface? General attack surface or remote attack surface, in-vehicle network architecture, and cyber physical features. And how this attack surface can be utilized? They can utilize using the attack vector. Some of the attack vector is door lock and door unlock, vehicle turn on and turn off, infected remote firmware update, read car internal data, that is your temperature, fuel level, diagnostic, travel code, etc. Affected vehicle GPS tracking, arbitrarily modified firmware, or injected arbitrarily canned packet. These are some of the attack vectors. Now, let's see how to manage them effectively and securely. So if we look at core elements of a vehicle security governance, there are three pillars of that. One is design, next is your operate and build. So what are the design? By design, what one's supposed to look for while looking at the vehicle security system? Obviously, mission and vision to protect the product, scope and goal, and the key functions. Second is leadership and authority, staff structure, and interaction model. Third is operational policies and procedure, performance management, resource allocation. These are integrated part of vehicle security governance, and which in turn help us to ensure a strong vehicle security. So what is the governance approach basically for a connected car security governance? We need to have a strategy for that. The major part of the strategy is your policy and framework. Adequate resourcing. Resourcing is not only related to having an adequately skilled staff, that is the human resource, it's also include their training and knowledge channelization, because car ecosystem is highly complex and you need a diversified knowledge to continuously contribute towards that. Security by design. When we look for a security by design, some of the critical aspect is secure architecture. You should have a secure architecture in place. Application security is very critical because all this embedded system or running with some applications, IoT security, vigilant. So one of the critical area is monitoring the car. That include upstream or fleet SIM, in-vehicle network protection, over-the-air protection. But still, in case of any issue happen, resilient is a very important component. So we should have a process and the technology in place to secure recovery and incident response. So when it is coming to the secure recovery and incident response, specifically we are targeting cyber and IT related area. Compliance, yes, vehicle is a product and every country has kind of regulatory and compliance requirement, safety related compliance requirement, and privacy related compliance requirement. The question could be why privacy? It's a very, very critical component because most of the countries have privacy law in place, and it is very important to ensure the privacy of the data which is personally identifiable, or it could be governed under law to ensure that there is no threat on the data and it's managed effectively or secure effectively. Now coming to the product security assessment, because when the governance part is in place, the next is once you put everything in place and execute that, it is important that we should test the outcome. To conduct that, we need to have a product security assessment approach in place. We need to set up a goal. Then we need to evaluate the attack surface and identify them, conduct a risk analysis, a 360-degree risk analysis, which include your technology risks, business-related risks, compliance-related risks, and the operational risks. Then we need to plan for testing. Once the planning phase is over, we need to go for a testing. After testing, we need to map the outcome of the testing with risks, associated risks, that is direct or dependent, report that. There will be a risk mitigation plan in place, which should be a kind of time bound. And once the mitigation is done, there is a closer confirmation, that is another round of testing to see that whatever the vulnerability or the gap identified within the product are taken care of. Now, what actually the scope under this approach? Since our scope is cyber, so generally the scope is firmware, vehicle communication versus mobile and web application inside the vehicle, integrated vehicle security, posture, connected vehicle services, wireless communication, infotainment, advanced vehicle system. Now, when we are looking at that area, telematics is one of the most critical components we need to concentrate. Now, during the testing, after scoping, the next phase is testing. During the testing, we need to look at entry point within the product, that is entry point within the car for the attacker. There are two major entry points. One is a wireless entry point, one is physical entry point. Physical entry point could be your Ethernet, USB port, OBD2, CD, etc. Whereas wireless are hotspot, Wi-Fi, RF communication, GSM data. And we need to very carefully, we need to be very careful while using those wireless entry point within a vehicle. There are certain common challenges related to vehicle security. One of the most important thing is firmware update. We need to have a secure firmware within the vehicle, and if there is any patch released or any security fixes are there, we need to ensure we are running the updated firmware. But the channel through which we update the firmware, that is very critical. If it is insecure, then this channel is a root cause of infection, can be a root cause of infection. Primary processor, external network interface are the set of challenge. Undocumented features. A vehicle is having lots of undocumented features, which may throw some set of risks on the vehicle. Lack of third-party governance is another challenge, because a product manufacturer may manage the product very effectively, but within the ecosystem, there are lots of third-party, and they may throw some set of challenges to manage the vehicle securely. So that is what could be our recommendation to handle this risks which are coming through the complex ecosystem. It could be a network, it could be a supply chain, it could be a cloud, it could be anything. So first thing, we need to have a secure hardware in place, that is the embedded component, and the secure boot and software attestation function needs to be in place. Tamper protection is very important because if a hardware get tampered, then that could be a channel for some unwanted intrusion. Active memory needs to be protected. Device identity protection is very important. What about the software? Yes, software, we need to have a secure boot, partition OS, authentication, enforcement of approved and appropriate behavior, secure SDLC. Secure SDLC is one of the critical requirement because the code may have lots of vulnerability, which in turn impacting the vehicle security. When it is coming to network, we need to have a proper access control, message and device authentication process in place, identify and enforce periodic holistic behavior of network. Now, this connected car, again, connected with the complete supply chain system as well as the cloud. So we need to ensure that cloud, which is connecting back and forth with the car, it could be for a monitoring purpose, so that is security monitoring, or could be a diagnostic purpose, that is secure. So we need to ensure that secure authenticated channel to the cloud, credential management, remote monitoring of the vehicle, threat intel exchange, OTA update in time. Now, supply chain, this is a very, very important part. Authorized distribution channel, well, it is coming to the firmware of which we are discussing earlier. We need to have a trusted authorized channel through which this firmware needs to be distributed and updated within the vehicle in a very secure way. Track and trace is important for the connected vehicle. Continuity of the supply is one of the key requirement. With this, I would stop this discussion. Thank you.